So here we are in Amsterdam, and here is Rick Calvert from BlogWorld. Hi Rick, how are you doing?
How are you, Vincent?
Hey Rick, you're in Amsterdam for a couple of days, and you're one of the founders of you're the founder of BlogWorld, and I presume that you were very strategic about this whole thing. I mean, you discovered that bloggers was big and that you had to make a strategic event. How did BlogWorld come to this world?
So it was completely the opposite. Actually, I'm a blogger myself, and I wanted to go to BlogWorld.
And you blogged about what?
I blogged about politics.
What was the name?
The Real Ugly American was the name of my blog. And I wanted to go to the blogging event, and I started searching for it, on Google, and it didn't exist. So we started it.
Yeah. And there's one thing, because you are from the business of exhibitions, right?
Yeah. I'm from
you know how to put an event together.
Yeah, I've done events with 100,000 people, Comic-Con, the SEMA show. I do a big event for furniture industry, so yeah, I knew I could do that part.
You actually still work there, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
What event do you put on?
It's called Association of Woodworking and Furnishing Suppliers, and it's a trade show for 30,000 people, and it happens once every 2 years in Las Vegas.
How long will it take BlogWorld to get to that level?
I don't know for sure, but I think about 5 years, I think BlogWorld will be at that level.
So 2007 was the first BlogWorld. How many people showed up, and what kind of speakers did you have?
1,500 speakers the first
speakers.
year. Oh, speakers, excuse me. 1,500 attendees.
Yeah.
Almost, we had 300 speakers last year, but 1,500 attendees, speakers the first year. Robert Scoble, Mark Cuban, who we sent a message to on Facebook, and he said yes, he'd come and talk to us. Guy Kawasaki last year. We've had Leo Laporte. We had Matt Mullenweg from WordPress.
So anybody in the blogging world is there.
Anybody who's anybody, any type of rock star of the blogosphere, of Twitter, of podcasting, of internet television, they're there.
So this year, where will it be? What dates?
In Las Vegas at the Convention Center, October 15 to 17.
How many people show up?
I think about 4,000 people this year.
And again, 300 speakers?
Yeah, 300 speakers last year. We're actually trying to cut that back, but it's a difficult thing to do. I mean, we just have so many great people.
Who are the most famous speakers this year?
So far, Chris Brogan, who I mentioned to you earlier, and you're like, who's that? Well, most people know who Chris Brogan is. He's a pretty famous guy.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. And Guy Kawasaki, again, we'll have this year. Kara Swisher, who writes for the Wall Street Journal, All Things D, with Walt Mossberg.
Yeah. Famous for interviewing Mark...
Yeah, exactly. So
at Selfie Southwest. Yeah.
Well, that's actually somebody else, but yeah. But yeah, and quite a few others. Darren Rouse we have coming over from Australia again.
Yeah, so anybody who's anybody in the podcast world and in the bloggers world.
Yeah, Tim Street is great.
So if you want to, why would you want to go to this to the blog world?
Well, first of all, to meet your friends. We all have all these friends, like you and I met. You're here in Amsterdam. You just happened to be in Vegas last January for the CES, and we met. And so it gives you that opportunity to meet the friends you've met via the blogosphere, via Twitter, via Facebook.
And the famous bloggers.
And the famous bloggers, who are all exactly like you and me. They're so nice to you, and they will talk to you just like we are talking now.
It's small enough that you still can meet those people.
Absolutely, because they're only famous to some people, and that's a really neat thing about the show, where you could be famous and this other guy could be famous, but you don't know each other. Like you don't know who Chris Brogan is. I mean, you can see that repeated 1,000 times.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you want to learn how to create better content, better video, audio. Write better. You want to build your community. You want to monetize your content. That's what we all want to do. We talk about all that stuff.
Yeah. So it's October 15 in Las Vegas, huh?
October 15 to 17.
And for a blogger, how much do you have to pay to get there?
Starts off at $50 to get into the show, see the keynote sessions and the exhibits. Goes up to $1,195
for PR people.
If you're a PR guy or a corporate,
but for normal bloggers, how much is it for normal bloggers?
Normal blogger would spend more than $400. All the parties, everything.
Yeah. Okay. Now, is blogging still relevant now that Twitter is here?
Yeah. Blogging is the universe of social media. It's the center of the universe of social media. Obviously, all of those things are important and part of the show. Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and of course, podcasting and internet video and radio. Those are all part of it. But blogging is the center of the social media universe.
But don't you see that? I mean, don't you have the impression that a lot of people just forget about blogging and only are on Twitter because that's already enough? Or How do you see those things scaled up?
Let's compare Facebook to Twitter, for example. Facebook with over 200 million users,
Yeah.
and Twitter with not quite 20 million users.
Yeah.
It's not the same. And it's the exact same thing, the economy scale and blogging. There's hundreds of millions of blogs now. Now, how many of those post every day or continue posting over a long period of time? It's still exponentially larger than something like Twitter. Twitter gets all the buzz. You have to separate the geekosphere from the blogosphere.
So
Those
Twitter
are
is
two
for
totally
geeks.
different things.
Twitter is for geeks.
It's
and
definitely crossing
Facebook
into
and
mainstream. And this is another important thing. I told somebody about this the other day. Twitter's had the benefit of being the latest social media thing. I'm sure you remember when everybody was talking about blogging in the news. And that was kind of big. And then everybody was talking about MySpace, and that was even a little bit bigger because social media had crossed over into the mainstream now. And then Facebook, it was a big, explosion. Everybody's talking about Facebook on the news.
Well,
and now Twitter is
see.
the most recent, so it's gotten the biggest amount of exposure.
Is that the only thing? Well, I guess we'll talk a lot about that at BlogWorld.
Absolutely.
What's the future of blogging?
I know you love Twitter, so.
Okay.
And so
Rick,
do I.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vince.